The arena buzzed with anticipation. A sea of faces illuminated by the harsh glare of overhead lights. Mexico City's air crackled with energy, the kind that only a rematch between two warriors like Isaac Cruz and Angel Fierro could ignite. The crowd's roar swelled as the announcer's voice boomed, introducing the fighters. Cruz, compact and relentless, bounced on his toes in one corner, his eyes locked forward, unyielding. Fierro, lean and weary, exuded a quiet confidence in the opposite corner, his gloves twitching as if eager to strike. This wasn't just a fight. It was a collision of pride, skill, and unfinished business. Their first encounter had ended in a controversial decision, with Cruz edging out a victory that Fierro's camp still disputed. Tonight, under the bright lights, they'd settle it once and for all. The bell rang, sharp and piercing, cutting through the noise. Round one began with both men circling, cautious but poised, each waiting for the other to make the first move. Cruz, known for his bulldog tenacity, lunged forward with a jab, testing Fierro's reflexes. Fierro slipped the punch, countering with a crisp left hook that grazed Cruz's temple. The crowd erupted, sensing the intensity. Cruz didn't flinch. He pressed forward, his feet planted firmly, throwing a combination of jab to the head, a right to the body. Fierro danced back, his footwork fluid, avoiding the brunt of the assault. The opening round was a chess match, each fighter probing, searching for weaknesses. Cruz's power was evident in every punch, even the ones that didn't land clean, while Fierro's speed kept him elusive, his counters snapping like a whip. As the round progressed, Cruz began to close the distance, cutting off the ring. His style was suffocating, a relentless march that forced opponents into uncomfortable territory. Fierro, though, was no stranger to pressure. He pivoted, landing a quick 1-2 that stung Cruz's cheek. The crowd roared again, split in their loyalties, half chanting for Cruz, the other for Fierro. The final seconds of the round saw Cruz unleash a flurry, a right hand landing flush on Fierro's jaw just as the bell sounded. Both men returned to their corners, breathing steady, eyes burning with focus. The scorecards were likely even, but the momentum felt tilted toward Cruz's aggression. Round 2 opened with Fierro taking the initiative. He darted in, landing a sharp jab to Cruz's nose, followed by a looping overhand right. Cruz absorbed the blows, his head barely moving, and countered with a vicious body shot that made Fierro wince. The body work was Cruz's game plan, a strategy to slow Fierro's movement and sap his energy. Fierro, aware of the danger, kept his distance, using the ring's expanse to his advantage. He peppered Cruz with jabs, keeping the shorter man at bay, but Cruz was undeterred. He bobbed and weaved, slipping under Fierro's punches, closing the gap inch by inch. A sudden left hook from Cruz caught Fierro off guard, rocking his head back. The crowd surged to its feet, sensing a shift. Fierro recovered quickly, firing back with a combination, but Cruz's pressure was relentless. The third round saw the fight's tempo escalate. Cruz, emboldened by his success, pushed forward with renewed vigor. He landed a brutal right hand to Fierro's ribs, the impact echoing through the arena. Fierro grimaced but fought back, his own punches carrying venom. A straight right from Fierro snapped Cruz's head back, a reminder of his own power. The two exchanged blows in the center of the ring, neither willing to give ground. The crowd was deafening now, every punch met with cheers or gasps. Cruz's nose began to trickle blood, but he seemed oblivious, his focus laser-sharp. Fierro, meanwhile, showed signs of fatigue, his footwork less crisp, his punches slightly slower. Cruz sensed it, doubling down on body shots, each one landing with a thud that seemed to shake Fierro's resolve. By the fourth round, the fight was becoming a war of attrition. Cruz's pressure was relentless, his punches methodical, targeting Fierro's midsection to break him down. Fierro, to his credit, refused to wilt. He landed a beautiful uppercut that caught Cruz flush, momentarily halting his advance. But Cruz shook it off, his durability a hallmark of his style. He responded with a combination that drove Fierro to the ropes, where he unloaded a barrage of hooks and uppercuts. Fierro clinched, buying time, his arms wrapped around Cruz's shoulders. The referee broke them apart, and Fiero used the moment to reset, circling away. The round ended with both men trading blows, neither willing to concede an inch. The crowd was on edge, knowing a knockout could come at any moment. Round 5 was where the fight's narrative began to shift decisively. CRUZ, sensing Fiero's fading energy, turned up the heat. He stalked his opponent, cutting off angles, forcing Fiero into corners. A massive overhand right from CRUZ landed on Fiero's temple, wobbling him. The arena exploded as CRUZ surged forward, throwing a flurry of punches. Fiero, to his credit, survived the onslaught, clinching and countering when he could. But the toll was evident. His legs were heavier, his reactions slower. CRUZ, bloodied but unbowed, smelled blood. He landed another body shot that made Fiero's knees dip, though he stayed upright. The bell saved Fiero, but his corner looked concerned as he slumped onto his stool. The 6th round was a showcase of CRUZ's dominance. He came out swinging, his punches carrying the weight of a man determined to end things. Fiero fought valiantly, landing a few sharp counters, but CRUZ's pressure was overwhelming. A left hook to Fiero's liver drew a gasp from the crowd and a visible wince from Fiero. He backed away, trying to create space, but CRUZ was relentless, his punches coming in waves. A right cross caught Fiero on the chin, sending him staggering. The crowd sensed the end, their cheers reaching a fever pitch. CRUZ pounced, landing a combination that sent Fiero to the canvas. The referee began the count, but Fiero, with heart and grit, rose at 8. The round ended before CRUZ could finish him, but the writing was on the wall. Round 7 was Fiero's last stand. He came out firing, desperate to turn the tide. A straight right landed on CRUZ's jaw, and for a moment, it seemed like Fiero might pull off a miracle. But CRUZ's chin was iron, and he absorbed the blow without flinching. He countered with a devastating hook to Fiero's body, followed by an uppercut that snapped his head back. Fiero's legs buckled, and he fell to the canvas again. This time, the referee waved it off. Seeing the exhaustion and damage in Fiero's eyes, the arena erupted as CRUZ raised his arms in victory, blood and sweat dripping from his face. Fiero, defeated but proud, nodded in respect as the two warriors embraced in the center of the ring. The post-fight scene was electric. CRUZ, now the undisputed victor, spoke to the crowd, his voice hoarse but triumphant. He praised Fiero's heart, calling him a true warrior. Fiero, in turn, vowed to return stronger, his spirit unbroken despite the loss. The crowd chanted both their names, a testament to the spectacle they'd witnessed. The highlights of the fight would be replayed for years. CRUZ's relentless pressure, Fiero's defiant counters, the knockouts that punctuated their war. This rematch wasn't just a fight. It was a story of two men pushing each other to their limits, leaving everything in the ring. The arena slowly emptied, but the energy lingered. Fans debated the fight's key moments, replaying CRUZ's body shots and Fiero's flashes of brilliance. The rematch had lived up to its billing, delivering drama, heart, and a decisive conclusion. For CRUZ, it was an affirmation of his place among boxing's elite. For Fiero, it was a setback, but one that would fuel his fire for the future. The sport of boxing, raw and unforgiving, had once again given the world a night to remember. The story of CRUZ and Fiero didn't end in the ring that night. Their rivalry, now etched in the annals of Mexican boxing, would be talked about for generations. CRUZ's victory solidified his status, but Fiero's resilience ensured he'd remain a threat. The post-fight analysis flooded the airwaves, with pundits dissecting every punch, every movement. Some argued CRUZ's power was the difference. Others pointed to Fiero's moments of brilliance, suggesting a third fight could be in the cards. The fans, though, didn't need convincing. This was boxing at its purest, a clash of wills that transcended scorecards. As the fighters left the arena, the city still buzzed. Street vendors sold shirts with CRUZ's and Fiero's names, and bars replayed the fight on every screen. The rematch had been more than a sporting event. It was a cultural moment, a celebration of Mexico's fighting spirit. CRUZ, the victor, carried the weight of expectation now, his path likely leading to bigger names, bigger stages. Fiero, the defeated but unbowed, would return to the gym, his hunger sharpened by the loss. Their story, like all great boxing tales, was one of triumph and struggle, of moments that defined them and a sport that demanded everything. The night faded, but the memory of the fight burned bright. CRUZ's hooks, Fiерro's counters, the roar of the crowd, it all lingered, a reminder of why boxing endures. To men, one ring, and a battle that left no one untouched. The rematch was over, but its echoes would resonate, a testament to the heart of the fighters and the soul of the sport. The arena pulsed with raw energy, a cauldron of noise and anticipation that only a city like Mexico City could produce. The air was thick with the scent of sweat, beer, and expectation as thousands packed the stands, their voices a unified roar for the rematch between Isaac Cruz and Angel Fierro. This wasn't just another fight night, it was a spectacle, a clash of two Mexican warriors whose first encounter had left fans divided and hungry for resolution. Cruz, the stocky brawler with a relentless style, stood in his corner, his face a mask of focus, eyes glinting under the bright lights. Across the ring, Fierro, weary and sharp, exuded a quiet intensity, his movements deliberate, his gaze unwavering. Their first fight had ended in a razor-thin decision for Cruz, a result that Fierro's team still contested, claiming their man deserved the nod. Tonight, under the unforgiving glare of the arena's lights, they'd settle the score with fists, not words. The announcer's voice cut through the din, introducing the fighters with a flourish that sent the crowd into a frenzy. Cruz bounced lightly, his gloves tapping rhythmically against his thighs, his compact frame radiating power. Fierro, taller and leaner, rolled his shoulders, his eyes locked on Cruz, reading every twitch. The referee called them to the center, delivering final instructions as the crowd's chants swelled. Cruz's name on one side, Fierro's on the other. This was more than a fight, it was a cultural moment, a testament to Mexico's deep love for boxing, where pride and legacy were at stake. The bell rang, a sharp clang that silenced the crowd for a split second before the noise erupted again. Round one began with a cautious dance. Cruz, true to his style, moved forward, his stance low, his jab probing like a battering ram testing a gate. Fierro, agile and quick, circled to his left, his own jab snapping out, catching Cruz on the forehead. The contact was light, but it set the tone. Fierro's speed against Cruz's power. Cruz pressed forward, undeterred, throwing a tight combination, a left to the body, a right to the head. Fierro slipped the headshot, countering with a quick hook that grazed Cruz's cheek. The crowd roared, split in their allegiance, every punch drawing cheers or gasps. Cruz's aggression was clear, his feet cutting off the ring, forcing Fierro toward the ropes. But Fierro was elusive, his footwork sharp, his counters precise. The round ended with a flurry from Cruz, a right hand, landing on Fierro's jaw just as the bell sounded, leaving the crowd buzzing. In their corners, trainers barked instructions. Cruz's coach urged him to target the body, to slow Fierro's movement. Fierro's team, meanwhile, emphasized distance, telling him to use his reach and keep Cruz at bay. Round two opened with Fierro taking the initiative, darting in with a double jab that caught Cruz's nose, drawing a thin trickle of blood. Cruz wiped it away, unfazed, and countered with a vicious hook to Fierro's ribs. The thud of the punch echoed, and Fierro's face tightened, though he refused to show weakness. He fired back, a straight right landing on Cruz's chin, rocking his head back. The exchange was electric, the crowd on its feet, sensing the fight's intensity ratcheting up. Cruz, relentless, closed the distance again, his punches short and heavy, each one carrying knockout intent. Fierro danced away, but not before Cruz landed another body shot, this one forcing a slight stagger. The third round saw the fight's rhythm shift. Cruz's pressure was becoming a problem for Fierro, whose footwork, while still sharp, was starting to slow under the onslaught. Cruz landed a crushing left hook to Fierro's midsection, the kind of punch that could steal breath and will. Fierro grimaced but countered with a beautiful uppercut that caught Cruz under the chin, momentarily halting his advance. The crowd was deafening now, every blow met with a surge of noise. Cruz's face was marked, blood smearing his nose, but his eyes burned with determination. He pushed forward, trapping Fiero against the ropes and unloading a barrage of hooks. Fiero clinched, his arms locking around CRUZ's shoulders, buying time. The referee separated them, and Fiero used the moment to reset, circling away, his jab flickering out to keep CRUZ at a distance. The round ended with both men trading blows in the center, neither willing to yield. Round 4 was where the fight's brutality came into focus. CRUZ, sensing Fiero's energy waning, turned up the heat. He stalked his opponent, cutting off angles, his punches methodical and punishing. A right cross landed on Fiero's temple, wobbling him for the first time. The arena exploded as CRUZ surged forward, throwing a flurry of punches lefts and rights, head and body. Fiero, to his credit, stayed upright, his heart refusing to let him fall. He fired back with a desperate combination. A one-two that caught CRUZ's cheek, but the power wasn't there. CRUZ's durability was his weapon, his ability to absorb punishment and keep coming forward a nightmare for opponents. A liver shot from CRUZ made Fiero's knees dip, though he stayed on his feet. The bell rang, and Fiero trudged to his corner, his breathing